Good day. We are Group 3 of A51 and we will be presenting about tropical climate.
First, let's discuss the environmental conditions in a tropical climate. Tropical dry climates, also known as tropical savannas or steppes, are characterized by distinct wet and dry seasons. These regions typically lie between the equator and the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. Here are some critical environmental conditions associated with tropical dry climates. First is temperature. The temperature in a tropical climate, it has high and relatively constant temperatures throughout the year. Daytime temperatures are typically warm to hot and with minimal variation. And nighttime temperatures may drop during the dry season, but the overall range is not as extreme as the other climate types. Next is the humidity. Humidity levels in tropical dry climates exhibit distinct seasonal variations. During the wet season, high humidity is prevalent due to increased moisture from heavy rainfall. And conversely, the dry season witnesses a significant reduction in humidity, leading to drier conditions and potential droughts. Then the precipitation. Tropical climates experiences distinct wet and dry seasons. The wet season is characterized by heavy rainfall, often in intense thunderstorms. The dry season sees significantly reduced precipitation, sometimes resulting in drought conditions. And the transition between wet and dry seasons may involve a short period of intense rainfall, known as the monsoon. Then the vegetation. The vegetation in a tropical dry climate is adapted to the seasonal changes in precipitation. During the wet season, lush vegetation thrives, including grassland and deciduous trees. In the dry season, many plants shed their leaves or go through dormancy periods to conserve water.
Next is soil. Soils in tropical dry climates can be nutrient rich, particularly during the wet season when decomposition is active. However, the dry season may lead to increased aridity and soil degradation. Next is the water sources. Rivers and lakes may experience fluctuations in water levels with high level during the wet season and lower levels during the dry season. Groundwater may become more crucial as surface water diminishing during dry periods. Next is wildlife. Wildlife in tropical dry climates is adapted to seasonal changes and often exhibits migratory patterns. Many animals are adapted to survive in arid conditions and may have mechanism for conserving water. And next one is human impact. Human activities in tropical dry climates often revolve around agriculture that relies on seasonal rainfall, water scarcity, during the dry season can impact communities, agricultures, and ecosystem. Deforestation and land use changes may contribute to shifts in local climate patterns. Understanding this environmental condition is crucial for managing and adapting to life in tropical dry climates, especially considering the potential challenges of water availability and seasonal variations.
Tropical climates span around the equator, encompassing a diverse array of countries across different continents. These regions share common features such as consistently high temperatures and prevalence of lush vegetation. Tropical climates collectively play a vital role in global climate dynamics. The equatorial region received the most direct sunlight, leading to the generation of heat and moisture that influence weather patterns worldwide. The lush vegetation in tropical rainforests act as a significant carbon sink, helping to regulate the Earth's climate. Moreover, these regions are often characterized by high level of biodiversity, and many plant and animal species are uniquely adapted to the specific condition of each type of tropical climate. I will tackle the three types of tropical climate to further understand the tropical climate in certain regions. The first one is the tropical rainforest climate. Tropical rainforests, characterized by evergreen forest and intense rainfall, are primarily found in Central and South America, Africa, and other parts of Southeast Asia. In Central and South America, the Amazon rainforest spans across countries such as Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, and Ecuador. The Congo rainforest, located in Central Africa, extends across countries such as the Democratic Republic of Congo and Gabon. In the African region, there is also Libya, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Oman, Yemen, Angola, Zimbabwe, and Botswana. Next is the tropical monsoon climate. The tropical monsoon climate is also prevalent in some parts of Asia, Africa, and Australia. India, with its vast territory, experiences a monsoon climate marked by a distinct wet season during the summer months when the southwest monsoon brings heavy rainfall. In Africa, countries such as Ethiopia, Kenya, and Somalia experiences a monsoon climate with alternating wet and dry season. Australia's northern regions, including parts of Queensland and Northern Territory, are influenced by Australian monsoon. Lastly is tropical savanna. In South America, the vast plains of Brazil, Peru, and Bolivia exhibit savanna's characteristic. Northern Australia is also known for expansive savanna landscape. The tropical savanna climate is characterized by a more extended dry season during which grassland dominate the area. Tropical savanna climates are widespread in Africa and South America. In Africa, countries like Kenya, Tanzania, Nigeria, and Zambia features beautiful landscape. This region are marked by a combination of grasslands and scattered trees, adapting to a more prolonged dry season.
Asian region. First, we have the Southeast Asia. For their climatic challenges, Southeast Asia and other regions in the tropics receive more direct sunlight and heat from the sun than the rest of the world because of the Earth's tilted position on its axis. Given this, the tropical climate has posed significant challenges for architects in the region who strive to build for calm and comfort in the face of oppressive heat, humidity, and rainfall. Their prominent climatic design, Southeast Asian architecture shared commonalities in design considerations as they began to adapt to a shared tropical climate region. Their vernacular houses are mainly composed of local materials, primarily woods, bamboo, thatch, and leaves, suitable to sustain thermal comfort within hot and humid areas. To address the various challenges in nature, early houses have concluded significant design considerations that are still relevant to the present tropical architecture. Number one is the natural ventilation. Evident in Southeast Asian houses is incorporating large openings, primarily windows, usually on complementary sides to anticipate cross ventilation. Early houses also have an open layout, releasing the tight flow movement inside. Next is the elevated structures. Raising the house on stilts allows a cold breeze from beneath to reduce temperature, particularly at night. Elevating the house a few feet from the surface also avoids heavy floods due to frequent rainfall. Third is the appropriate roofing. With frequent precipitation over the region, early houses designed high-pitched roofs to facilitate quick water runoff, avoiding the accumulation of excesses. Additionally, overhanging eaves provide a screen from the sun's direct radiation. And last, landscaping. Tropical regions are prominent in heavy rainforests. Early architecture took advantage of abundant vegetation to sustain cool weather, facilitated by the continuous water cycle and the respiration cycle produced by plants at night. Moving on to the South Asia, the highland zone has the coldest climate. This is the area of the Himalayas and other northern mountains where snow exists year-round. The lower elevations, which include the lush foothills and valleys of Nepal, Bhutan, and northern India, are much warmer. South Asia's weather climate is influenced by dominating monsoons and has greatly reached from the subtropical region through the northern mountains of the Himalayas. However, an enormous range of this area still experiences an intense climate comparable to its nearby Southeast Asian region. South Asian architecture adopted building materials similar to the Southeast Asian. The vernacular houses primarily consisted of bamboo, coconut leaf, and thatch, wood, sun-dried brick, stone, and mud. The cob method has been followed as a construction technique where locally available mud is mixed with clay, water, and a lot of straws to avoid cracks. Such a mixture is spread in layers to construct the plinths and walls. It has a long facade facing west and east. The main door and two narrow windows are also facing east. There is also an extra door on the north side. There is no opening on the west side to reduce the heat gain. Other structures like the store and kitchen are oriented north-south. Here are their design considerations. Number one is the orientation. The suitable orientation is a north-south orientation, where the longer sides of the building will face the north and south direction. Second is the ventilation. Ventilation can reduce trapped heat through the convection process of airflow. To ensure this, an opening at the top is required. Third is the building materials. Thatch roof is better than CI sheets as its U value is less than CI sheets. Last is the shading. This can be ensured by an eave, projected roof, and sunken window to protect the build from direct sunlight, direct wind, and rain. And for the African region, the identity of African vernacular architecture mirrors the geographical and cultural diversity of the continent. From the sun-drenched terracotta structures of North Africa's kasbahs to the circular huts with dome-shaped thatch roofs in southern Africa. The geological appearance of northern Africa is the barren desert region of the continent as compared to the southern Africa, which contains healthy vegetation on its side, thus resulting in dissimilar building techniques and utilities. In dry regions, buildings are built with thick mud or stone walls to protect against scorching heat. Elevated structures then gain safeguard against flooding during heavy downpours. This adaptability features the ability of local builders to adapt their designers to the ever-changing climate. Further design considerations. Number one is the roofing. The traditional thatch roof is still the most common in rural tropical Africa. It has the undoubted advantages of low cost, good heat insulation, and is a familiar and readily available construction material. Its chief disadvantages are its low durability, generally 3 to 7 years only, and its flammability, a more acute problem in urban areas. Second is the walling. The traditional earthen materials are especially suitable for wall construction, as they offer good heat insulation, and the walls can be easily constructed with only simple tools. Using vaulted ceilings and arches allows a passive wind flow, maintaining ventilation. Third is the flooring. Floor construction is essential from a health viewpoint, even if a minor importance for house durability. For proper hygiene, the amount of water rising to the floor surface must be kept to a minimum. Thus, a ready improvement to the traditional housing can be effected by providing a capillary breaking layer of a coarse, granular material. And lastly, the foundation. The durability of the earthen of masonry walls of houses will generally be improved if provided with a simple foundation. In a few cases, will the natural surface provide an adequate foundation? For most of the area of tropical Africa, though, it will only be necessary to move the more compressible surface layers and lay the blocks directly on the bottom of a shallow trench after leaving the wall and tamping the bottom. For the Australian region, the early dwellers in the region of Australia were Aboriginals. According to Paul Memot, many huts and shelters Aboriginal people built were dome structures. Some of the houses had triple layers of cladding and insulation. In Western Victoria, Aboriginal people built circular stone walls more than a meter high, constructing dome roofs over the top with earth or sand cladding. Indigenous Australians in various regions demonstrated adaptive architectural responses to the tropical climate. The dwellings, ranging from bark huts to more sophisticated structures, showcased one's understanding of environmental needs. Their traditional dwellings includes bark huts, a common in southern regions like Victoria. These open-sided structures use arched bark sheets or boss. They were positioned to shield from wind, allowing fire placement away from smoke. Second is the Queensland leaf huts, constructed swiftly by women using grass-free or paper bark. These huts utilize dead flowering stems and green rushes for a layered, watertight roof. And last, log and thatch huts, found in West Australia and Victoria. These structures varied from cupola shape to beehive-like, using turf, clay, and sods for insulation. Their innovative designs include stone ensampling structures, circular stone erections, circular clay-coated huts. Their unique constructions include conical roof hut with portico and vine tendril hut.
Now for the North American region. The countries with tropical climates in the North American region are specifically found in the southern parts of Mexico and several countries in Central America. Considering the climate in these areas, they have learned to adapt their architecture to cope with the challenges posed by the warm and humid conditions. Several design considerations were also applied to their architecture. Firstly is the ventilation and open design. Many traditional buildings feature open designs with large windows and doors to facilitate natural ventilation. High ceilings are common to allow hot air to rise and escape, promoting air circulation. Second is the use of local materials. Buildings often utilize locally sourced materials that are well suited to the climate. For example, thatch roofs, adobe, and other materials with good thermal properties. Next is elevated structures. Elevating buildings on stilts or pillars helps mitigate the risk of flooding in tropical regions prone to heavy rains and storms. Next is cool roofs and light-colored surface. Roofs with reflective, and light-colored coatings help reflect sunlight and reduce heat absorption, keeping the interiors cooler. Next is the rainwater harvesting. Technologies for collecting and utilizing rainwater are often incorporated to address water scarcity during dry seasons. Next is the hurricane-resistant design. In hurricane-prone areas, buildings may be designed to withstand strong winds and heavy rains. This includes reinforced structures, impact-resistant windows, and other measures. Lastly is the sustainable and green architecture. Increasingly, sustainable and green building practices are being employed, including the use of solar panels, efficient energy-efficient appliances, and other eco-friendly technologies. In a similar manner to the countries with a tropical climate, several countries in South America also experience high temperatures and distinct wet and dry seasons. Their architecture has also evolved to mitigate certain challenges posed by the climate. These architecture are designed to provide resilient and comfortable living spaces for people. The design considerations includes the traditional indigenous architecture. Indigenous communities in the Amazon basin and other tropical areas often build traditional structures using locally sourced materials. These structures may have raised floors, thatched roofs, and open designs to promote ventilation. Second is elevated structures. In flood-prone areas, buildings may be elevated on stilts and platforms to mitigate the risk of damage during heavy rains and flooding. Third is natural ventilation. Open designs with large windows and doors are common to facilitate natural ventilation and allow for the circulation of cool air to cool interiors. Fourth is high ceilings. Buildings may feature high ceilings to allow hot air to rise, promoting better airflow and cooling. Fifth is thermal mass. Some traditional buildings use materials with high thermal mass, helping to regulate temperatures by absorbing and releasing heat slowly. Next is shade and landscaping. Design often incorporates natural shades, elements such as trees, awnings, and other landscaping to protect the buildings from direct sunlight. Seventh is cool roofs. Roofs may be designed with reflective or light colored materials to reduce heat absorption and keeping the interiors cooler. Next is rainwater harvesting. Systems for collecting and utilizing rainwater may be integrated into buildings to address water scarcity during dry seasons. Next is use of local materials. Traditional and contemporary architecture often involves the use of locally sourced materials, which are better suited to the climate and contribute to sustainability. Lastly is modern technologies. In urban and modern developments, architects may incorporate technologies such as energy-efficient windows, insulation, and air conditioning to enhance comfort.